In this video, you're going to learn the update on the Christopher Watt case, where the investigation is right now, the legal part of it on court case. They've been in court the last couple of days. You're going to learn about that, what's going on there. And you're also going to learn on the possible leak with one of the law enforcement agencies. And then 4, you're going to learn about my research into this. And then we're going to do a little recap at the end. So, welcome back, everyone. So Christopher Watts and his legal team had court the last 2 days, the 24th, 25th. Today's the 26th. I was waiting until today to finish the editing on this and put this out, because I wanted to see what the district court, the DA, was going to do, if he was going to actually release the records the following day like he said he was going to. He didn't do it. So, all right, let's get into this. So, on August 13th this year, Christopher Watts was arrested after he confessed to killing his wife and strangling her to death. He said he did it in a fit of rage. He choked her and killed her. He said that he's seen on a baby monitor, closed circuit baby monitor video, that she had already killed one daughter and was in the process of killing the second one. When he went in and confronted her, he found out that the second one had already died by the time he got upstairs to the where she had done it on their bed, supposedly. That's what his version is. He was arrested that day on the case. They later, a couple of days later, found his wife buried in a shallow grave on Anacardo Petroleum's property, and the 2 girls dumped into an oil tank. And the tank that they were dumped into was used for backflush of excess crude. When they skim the top off the oil, it's dumped into there, and it's only cleaned out once every other couple of months, and nobody almost never goes into it. So if he did do it, allegedly do it, that's where he buried the bodies. All right, so that's where we're up to the point where he's now been in jail. He's been on suicide watch since the 3rd day that he got there. He spends 23 hours a day in his cell. He's allowed out for 1 hour a day to make phone calls, visit his legal team, or to exercise. That's it. And there's only 3 days a week that the legal team can go to actually visit him. And he's not allowed to see his family or anything else. He can call them on the phone, but he cannot visit family or friends right now. He has no visitors allowed. They lock on him in the thing. And the 1 hour, if he decides he wants to exercise, he goes into what is a 13 by 15 concrete room with access to fresh air through the top, and that's it. There's nothing in the room. They won't even allow even a basketball in there with him, because maybe he'll kill himself with it. I don't know what the reasoning behind that is, but according to the Weld County Jail, they don't allow anything in that room when someone's on suicide watch, and they mean nothing. No paper, nothing. No exercise equipment, nothing. All right, so court case. So yesterday, this is on the 24th. Judicial District Judge Marcelo Kopkow ordered the District Attorney's Office to release the coroner's and autopsy results to the defense team. The DA said they can't release those records to them because the report is not finished. They are still waiting on the pathology report. The Judicial District Court Judge Marcelo Kopkow then asked them, is that your normal procedure that you do not release the autopsy and coroner's report until the pathology report is in? They said sometimes they release them, sometimes they don't. It all depends upon the case. And the judge then said, I'm telling you, release what records you have on the coroner's and autopsy results to the defense team. The DA then said, we want to still keep these records sealed. The defense team said, and then brought up the argument, well, hold on a second. How can you keep these records sealed and you won't let them out to the public, but at the same time you're sharing information from your office with a third party who you are trying to hire as a forensic expert on this case? How is it that you are emailing this person back and forth this information, trying to hire them as to go to testify against my client, and you're releasing information to them, but you want to keep these records sealed? That's not very sealed results, is it? The judge then said they have a valid point. It's not a very sealed case. I will rule on this later on if these autopsy results will remain sealed. But for now, release that information to the defense. So that's where that is. Anything else that has been leaked out of there, I will get to here later on in this video. So he also ordered the DA's office to comply with the state law on records requests. Over 20 different people have requested copies of the coroner's report, and over 30 people have requested copies of the pathology and reports and other things that are associated with that. They haven't responded to any of them. Rightfully so. They thought that they had that part of it sealed, so they said, we're just not going to do it. So he also asked the district attorney. He said, "You haven't." On the September 17th, I thought I was pretty clear to you that you needed to release records to the defense team on where your investigation is now, and then you came in afterwards and said you wanted to a court subpoena to take palm prints and footprints from the defendant, but you did not actually list why you wanted those. I would like to know now, today, why you want that information, and if you're going to plan on releasing the information I told you to release back on September 17th. So, this is 9 days later. So a week later, they want the district attorney's office has the following evidence that they're not releasing: computer records, evidence reports and witness testimony, the coroner's reports, information that they've received from cellular phone records, where they actually have records, and it actually says in there that they pinged Christopher Watts' phone to see if his cell phone actually showed up anywhere near the Anacardo Petroleum property that day. That's very important information if they actually can ping him to actually being his cell phone pinged off of one of the nearby towers. There is a tower, a cellular tower, on the opposite side. So there's a road that comes in like this, and the opposite side of that is a cellular tower. So if he was there and his cell phone was on and in his pocket, it would have pinged off of that tower. They're not releasing that information, and they have not given that information to the defense team if they actually can prove that he was there by his cellular records. That's an interesting piece of information to know about. Didn't even know about that. They also have closed circuit TV footage from not just a neighbor across the way, but from other businesses and other neighbors down and in and out of the. I wouldn't say it's a gated community, but the communities they live in. There were several neighbors along the way in and out on the main way in and out that have footage, and they have those records as well, and video copies of that, and they haven't released any of that information to the defense team either. In total, the defense team has received no less than 17 actual records. The 17 pages of records. The district attorney's office has over 130. They haven't released a little droplet of information. Now it's early in the case. There may be good reasons why they haven't released this information, but they either way they're still holding back on it. So what is it? Oh, and the judge also ruled that if the district attorney keeps on playing loosely with the release of information to the defense, that they are definitely in violation of due process of law. part of your constitutional rights. That apparently they don't think they can have to abide by those. And he said, again, he reiterated, you have until Tuesday of next week to release all the records to the defense team. They can't even have a chance at mounting any kind of defense at all, or hire expert witnesses to defend their client if they can't even know what the evidence is against him at this point. Now, we're miles away from ever getting to court on an actual trial date here. This is all just bickering back and forth between the two sides right now, and the judge ruling on when you have the information, you have to give it to them. The defense has requested it, they've put in motions to it, and why haven't you released it? It's just bickering right now, little stuff like that. All right, so that's where the legal part of it is right now. It wasn't that much of a minor thing, major thing. They're just bickering back and forth, like I said. The next one is the possible leak by law enforcement. The district attorney's office and the defense and the judge, all three are extremely worried about a leak that is coming from the Frederick Police Department out to the media, and it's either they're leaking it directly to the media, and then someone at the media is blogging about it underneath an assumed name that's not traceable back, or they're leaking it out to someone who's blogging about it and to the media. They're not sure what the actual connection is there, if it's two or if it's just one right now, but they are. They know there's a leak. It's coming from the Frederick Police Department. It was someone who was actually in on the case the day of the arrest and after the arrest, while they were, going through eyewitness testimony and interviewing businesses and his former. They're going to clamp down even more on the release of information on this. Now comes me, part 4 in this, my research. Well, I would be absolutely lying to you if I didn't tell you that I knew that there was a leak. Because I was looking at all the information, the transcripts from news outlets and from everywhere things were getting out to the media that I was reporting on. And I saw something very curious that kept on happening the day of the arrest, that it was like a breadcrumb trail that led out from, I didn't know if it was the police department or if it was a friend of Chris's, somebody who had to be really close to the case. But I was following that breadcrumb trail, and that's where I got some of my information, because that's what I do. I'm a sleuth, and I was following it back to trying to find back to where the actual source was, and that's basically what the attorneys are doing now, and the Now, my view, Christopher Watts is a piece of shit. He already admits to killing his wife and his unborn son. So, I mean, you already a piece of shit in my bag. Did he kill his 2 little girls? That's going to be up for the court to decide. But I mean, he's already confessed to the one murder. Doesn't mean he actually committed the other 2. Is it likely that he did? Yeah, it looks that way. But did he? I don't know. I'm not going to be the one sitting judgment on him. So you can go ahead and flame me in the comments section like you've done it every other time about me, judging him beforehand in front of the flag, But again, you weren't there. I wasn't there. We don't know what actually happened that day. Maybe she really did snap because she was in an abusive relationship before, and she just snapped, because her entire world was being taken away from her when he said he wanted a separation. That's all she ever lived for, was being a wife and a mother. She wanted those things more than anything. So, we don't know. Thanks for stopping by.